Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2009. It is a B-Day, and you may understand what that means if you watch my first video, or if you are in my school district. Otherwise, you may be in another school district that uses different letters for different days, or you may just have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, and that is A-okay. Just know that today was an A-Day, and that will get you through your life. Anyway, so today nothing really interesting happened. Today was kind of blah, just so you know. But yeah, there is a slight change of scenery. But that's only because I was too lazy to go up to my room and set everything up in my room. So I literally have my camera up on a bunch of stacked boxes of cereal. Yeah. Usually it's up on stacked books laying on their sides. But now it's stacked boxes of cereal laying on their sides. Pretty delicious stack right there. Yes, that was creepy. I promise I will not do that to you again. Anyway, so yeah, there's really not much to talk about. Yesterday, there was some pretty interesting stuff that happened that I just forgot to mention to, like, inform you about. So I guess I'll tell you about it now. Well, yesterday, you know, I was driving to school and we were like, yay, school! Because it's school and it's like, woohoo! And, you know, we're pulling in and I'm like, you know, I think today's going to be a really weird day. I just have a feeling that some very abnormal things are going to happen. And what do you know? I'm sitting there in my homeroom and I'm listening to the announcements, waiting for them to be over so I can go to my first period class and get the day done with and figure out what's strange that's going to happen. And a freaking huge centipede is crawling across the floor. And I was like, ah! And everybody, like, turns to look at me, and I'm like, sorry, because, like, everybody's staring at me. They're just, like, their eyes are boring into the deep recesses of my soul. Don't ask me where that came from, I don't know. But it happened. And, like, my math/homeroom teacher is, like, staring at me, and I'm like, eh. I didn't even, like, say anything. I was just like, ah. I was, like, pointing. I don't know if you can see the pointing. But, yeah, that was pretty exciting. And, yeah, that was terrifying. And so I go into my first period class, science. We're watching a movie yesterday, right? And so we're given these, like, guided notes that ask you questions. You have to answer them while you're watching the video. And so I'm doing that, and I'm, like, kind of paying attention, kind of not, kind of, like, zoning out, staring at the desk. And, like, there's this, like, whitish, brownish spider just, like, crawling across the table/desk thing. And I'm like, holy crap, spider! And it's, like, crawling onto the books of this girl who sits next to me. Her name's Laura. And, like, it's just, like, crawling onto her books. I'm like, ah, spider! And she turns around and she's like, ah! And it was just, like, a big scream fest. And she, like, ran that way. And I, like, jumped into the lap of the kid who's sitting next to me. His name's Tom. Yeah, and, like, it was just, like, whoa, there's spiders just dissolving out of Earth. Solving? I don't know. Appearing right out of thin air. And it was awful. And so, like, someone kills it, and I unwillingly crawl back to my chair, and I'm sitting there, like, half whimpering, because I've been thoroughly traumatized by how close I got to this spider. I have arachnophobia, in case you don't know. Anyway, well, anything with more than 4 legs is bad. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, we're continuing our video, and, like, I'm staring at the floor, and I see the dead body of this spider, I'm like, hey, you're dead. because I'm cynical and awful like that. And like, I was all feeling victorious because I'd beaten the terrifying spider. And, like, what do you know? There's another one crawling right past the dead one. And, like, I jumped 12 feet out of my seat, and out of my seat, and I screamed, because it was not cool, man. And, like, I just, like, would not sit there anymore. I, like, jumped out of my seat, jumped out of that row. I spent the rest of that 30-minute class period, well, it's a 45-minute class period, but I spent, like, the rest of those 30 minutes standing in the back of the room. I wouldn't get my paper to finish the questions, so I lost, like, 5 points for the day, because I wouldn't fill out the questions, because I didn't want to touch anything. Spiders and Hannah, we don't mix very well. And, yeah, so that was my story from yesterday. And I guess, while I've got time, I'll talk about another weird dream I had. Yeah, because it was really crazy, and I just have to share it with the world. So, this is my dream. My friend Greta and I, we are going to Dorney Park with my family. Dorney Park is this great theme park in good old PA. I'm pretty sure there's only one, so if you don't live around Pennsylvania/Dorney Park, then you probably have absolutely no idea what it is. But you should come visit it, because it's fantabulous. Anyway, so, you know, but, like, we're there in Dorney, but it's not really Dorney, it's just understood to be, because, like, it's a dream, and so, you know. And so we're there, and I saw 3 judges from American Idol, Simon, Paula, and Randy, and I'm like, okay. And, like, it's not, Simon was the real one, but, like, Paula and Randy, they weren't really Paula and Randy. I really don't even think they were there, but they were just understood to be there. Either that, or there were other people that just kind of, like, didn't exist, but they were understood to be Paula and Randy. And so, like, Simon's there, and he's the real Simon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, hi Simon, and he's like, oh what, hello. And he's, like, looking around, so he can't see me. I'm like, hey, right here, over here. And he's like, oh, hello, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good, how are you? Oh, pretty good, thank you for asking. And, like, we're just going on and on. And I'm like, so guess what? And he's like, what? And, P.S., this is a horrible accent for Simon, but, you know, I'm gonna forgive myself, hopefully. You will find it in your heart to forgive me as well. Anyway. So, he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm auditioning for American Idol next year because I'm going to be old enough. And he was like, oh, really? Can you catch? And I'm like, what? And he's like, can you catch? And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out why the heck I would need to be able to catch to be on American Idol. But, you know, it didn't correlate in my mind. And so, like, I'm like, yeah, I can catch. But I really can't catch, so I don't know what my dream Hannah was thinking. But whatever. And Simon, as soon as I was like, yeah, I can catch, he was like, here you go. I am going to rue this day, and it's going to be the worst day of my life when I have to listen to you sing on American Idol. And I'm just sitting there like, Simon, you pissed me off.